Joe here from the Working Fans Podcast. And at the Working Fans Podcast, this is just a podcast that three lifelong fans created to have a place to talk comedy and pro wrestling. Now, our comedy podcast releases every Tuesday, while our wrestling podcast releases every Thursday. We release bonus episodes under the moniker Working Fans Presents every now and then. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, any major podcast provider. The important thing is just please like, rate, review, subscribe wherever you listen to us. Now, we have started a new thing. We are now on Amazon and Audible. So those episodes release every Monday. And that's kind of going through the archives and just releasing our old episodes into new areas. So if you want to live through the process with us again, take that journey with us again, you can find us over on Amazon and Audible. Now, if you can't get enough of us in the audio form, check out our YouTube. It's youtube.com/C/Working Fans Wrestling Pod, or just search Working Fans Podcast on YouTube. We have the whole archive is up there. And if you listen to the Working Fans Podcast, you are more than familiar with the 531. That is our signature segment where we take your top 5 lists on a particular subject, vote it down to a top 3, and then debate it down to a top 1. Now, guys, if you want to hear 3 guys talk shit about comedy, wrestling, life, anything, you will enjoy the Working Fans Podcast. Fans, welcome back for Working Fans Saturday, episode 44. This week, we have a special comedy episode with friend of the show and guest Dame FK. If you don't know who this guy is, you are fucking up. But we will introduce you to him shortly after our intro. Welcome back, fans. Dave, how you doing? Fuck, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, man.
That doesn't matter right now because we have a man. We have a man that has been on stage at the Laugh Factory in Los Angeles. He has rocked shows in his own hometown of New London, Connecticut. Like I said, if you're not familiar with this dude, you are fucking up. But I would like to introduce everybody to our friend Dame FK. Dame, how you doing today?
All right, guys. Thank you again for having me. Can you guys hear me okay? Because they said I was
pretty good
for a second.
Yeah, we got you good. We might have a slight delay, but me and Dave have worked with worse. Now, Dave, if you want to start off with the questions, because I've worked with Dame, I know him fairly well. Dave is just meeting him for the first time. So, Dave, hit him with the first one.
All right. So I guess the basic question I think most people want to know
Dave,
is
I can't hear anything that Dave's saying.
Oh, all right.
Let me see if I can maybe just take my Bluetooth off.
The Bluetooth?
Oh shit! I might have to be your interpreter, Dave.
Yeah. Well, I was just
one second.
We got you, bud.
All day, all night.
Remember how back in the day, Dave, something like this, we would freak out.
Oh yeah.
We've had enough issues where it ain't shit anymore. We just
no.
punches.
Let's try one more time.
All right, Dave.
All right. How can you hear me? How we doing?
Can you hear Dave at all? Can you hear us, Dame?
Dame, can you hear me?
Are you there?
Am I muted? I can't hear anything.
Oh, he can't hear anything. Oh, no.
Oh, dang. My man, where you at? Oh, shit. Oh, he's muted.
No, you're not muted, brother.
Whoa. No, you muted him for a second?
I muted him for a second, and then I took him off mute to make sure I didn't mute him.
Well, you want to send him a message in the thing?
Yeah, we'll take Dame out right now. Dave, You said you did watch the GCW show last night. Why don't you tell us real quick about the matches you saw at least? Dave, can you hear me?
Working Fans Podcast.
Oh,
The man they call Dave.
All right, we are having issues like crazy today.
All right, we'll just
Tell us
just
about
chat.
the GCW show because you watched more of it than I did.
All right, yeah, I'll spoil some shit for you. So I watched a little bit of it. Jacob Fatu and Dickerson. Fatu. I didn't know there were disqualifications. It looks like Fatu got disqualified at one point for taking a piece of the ring and bloodying up Dickerson, and then he just kicked the referee's head off. And then people are interfering. Fatu's beating people up. And then Starboy comes in, and he actually gets some offense on Fatu. But eventually Fatu catches him in the thing where he throws him up the air. Samoan drop. Looks fucking beautiful. And then Dickerson makes a comeback. He starts throwing Germans on Fatu. And then this guy, I guess Joe will probably be familiar with that. I'm not. Juicy comes out. Big motherfucker named Juicy. And he comes out, and he basically he shoves Fatu down. Like he's telling him to calm down, and then he just ends up taking out Dickerson, and they both beat him down.
Nice. Well, that's enough spoiler alert.
Right,
because our man has fixed his situation. Dame, you got us good now?
1 second.
I love it.
My manager just texted me to just open it on another phone.
I admire this man's phone taste.
Oh man,
I know. Let's say my man's got a good phone taste. That's all I'm saying.
All right, he's figuring it out here.
Let me check. Professionally, I want to check my bitch while I'm here. Hold on.
Here we go. Dame, can you hear us better?
No, you're muted.
Oh no.
There's a mute there. But I can see it. So is that on your end?
Okay, he muted himself at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Shit, we about to get stereo dames here. I'm gonna go with whatever feed works.
All right, let me see. Because I got two phones.
Down the left.
You guys hear me now?
I can hear you.
All right, I can hear you guys.
Cool.
You can.
Yep.
All right, excellent. So Dave, hit him with that first question.
First question. Which was okay, yeah. So Dave, who would be some of your influences? Like who were people you listened to when you were younger that got you into comedy?
I would say I'm probably an amalgamation of like Jerry Seinfeld and Eddie Murphy.
Nice.
I know that's like a heavy ticket, but like those are my two influences.
Did you grow up watching
hold on 1 second.
Go ahead.
This is like season 1 Seinfeld shoe. Like this is what I wear on stage.
No shit.
It's the same like Nike that he wore in season 1. Year current. This is not like a retro some shit. Which, if you know like how small I am, like I'm a little dude. So it's like harder for me to get like fucking like kids shoes, because kids back in the 80s and 90s, they were actually outside. They were like running around fucking them up, playing kickball, climbing rocks and shit. So like usually they're fucking torched. So like I fucking, I had to search for those shits for forever and shit, like $1,400. But that's like the guy that I want to be most like and shit. So figure I would steal.
And working with Dame, I can attest to his style because he always had on some kind of nice shoe, some kind of shirt that I'm like, oh shit, where did he get that from? Like Dame has a style. And when he told me Seinfeld at first, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I actually appreciate that because like working at that job like ruined my life as far as like clothes go, because I don't have work clothes. And then like I'm just wearing shit that I would probably wear on stage or like probably wear out. I'm just wearing it to work and fucking it up.
Yeah, and a warehouse will do that to
you. I
you.
was pulling for a long time in the Raf Simmons Oswego's twos.
Wow, now Dame, how is
that's like a $700 shit?
Have you been to England before?
No, this is my first time being out the country at all.
How's the food?
The food is fucking terrible.
Oh, no.
This shit doesn't even make any sense. And then the ethnic food's actually good. Like the Indian here is super good. And then like fucking the Chinese and the Japanese here is really good because this is like a fucking like a financial hub. So it's like a lot of those cultures come here and they trade, and like you would get, I believe, like as like the people become like more affluent in that area, they want like better food and better like more authentic to where they're from and shit. So an Indian businessman can come here and get like a decent fucking dish, but it's dummy expensive. And then like the shit these people eat, they just sprinkle baked beans all over it and then hope for the best, I guess. It's like motherfuckers eating porridge. It's like, yo, it really do be looking like these niggas eating jail food. Like, I don't know if you ever seen like what they feed niggas in jail, but like that's what they're eating and shit on a daily basis. It's fucking insane.
Holy shit.
Well, now, what is the hardest thing to adjust to being over there? Is it the food? Is it the time? I know you said earlier that jokes hit different, and there's some punchlines that just don't like translate.
Yeah, this shit don't work at all. Like right now, my big joke is a bit about getting Sour Patch Kids out of a woman's vagina, and then like, which is it's fair. It's like it's pretty blue. It's crass. So it's like I'm working on that, and then like after the show, people come up to me and they're like, "Yo, we loved your stuff, mate. Awesome stuff." And also, what the fuck are Sour Patch Kids?
Wow, they don't have Sour Patch Kids.
They have no idea.
If they did, they put baked beans on it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's hilarious.
But fucking like our food's illegal here.
Illegal?
Like how you walk in New York City and people like, "Yo, weed, I got weed." Yeah, it's illegal. Yeah, our food's it's illegal. You're not like this guy pulled me aside and was like, "Yo, I got what you need. You're American, right?" I was like, "Yeah," and he fucking showed me flaming hot Cheetos.
Like he opened up his coat. He's like, "I got the flaming hot Cheetos."
Oh my goodness.
Nah, he didn't have a whole overcoat. Oh fuck, that's so funny. That's so funny. Yo, Joe,
pulls out a little Milky Way. He's like, "You like that chocolate, right?"
I'm stealing that. That's funny as shit. But yeah, they in like sugar's banned here. So like every all the candy has like artificial sweeteners in it. Fucking that shit sucks. Like I said, I'm fucking a Seinfeld cuck, so I have like an affinity to just eat cereal after shows, and there's like no cereal here at all. Like Tony the Tiger is like literally an outlaw. But fucking yeah, it's whack. It's on food level, and then even some of the shit that they're like, "Oh, you gotta embrace the culture." So I'm like, "Okay, what should I eat?" This lady tried to feed me cockles. I'm like, "Yo, I'm a grown up. Like, I'm not gonna just go for this shit." Fucking cockles.
Have you been to any of the bars or nightclubs?
Right now, where I stay in Dalston, I stayed in Shoreditch earlier, but where I stay in Dalston, this is like the lit area. So it's like there's 40 clubs and bars just on the fucking road. And I live right now in a flat right above a bar, an Irish bar.
Nice.
No, it's fucking terrible.
Now, what's
they be finding all types of stupid reasons to drink. These motherfuckers was down there watching a dart tournament on like 16 fucking flat screens going nuts. And there's not a dartboard in there.
Oh, shit. That's got to fuck your sleep up.
Yeah, I have not slept. I have not slept since I've been here. They gave me this tea, like kava tea, and it's supposed to like knock you right out and shit. But it just made me like super high. So I'm just drinking that.
Nice. Now, what's the tour you're on? Who are you with?
It's just me, bro.
Nice.
Just
that's got to be crazy to be able to do your thing.
That's a very inside baseball comedy question that like be burning me up when people ask me that, because I'm like, I'm dope enough to just do it myself. But at the same time, it's like, nigga, how do you know that motherfucking the dichotomy of comedy? How do you know that niggas gotta go on tour with other people and shit? I hate that shit. But I'm working on an album right now.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Damn, he's dropping the exclusives on us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I'm about to say nobody knows that.
I saw one of his last show. I think I saw your last show in the States that you did at Hot Rods. And I got to know, have you ever been presented with a bill on stage before? Because when the dude I was sitting with is like, "Nah, send it to Dame on stage," I'm like, how the fuck are you going to hit him? He's got enough going on in this crowd tonight, and now you're going to make him like look at this bill on stage. I thought that was wild. Oh no, I'm not hearing him now.
I was gonna say this could be.
I know this is where the gold's at.
I know. I'm missing the story. Yeah, we can't hear you, Dan. There's no snare in my headphones. Sorry. Flashback to Dave Chappelle.
All right. Shit.
I can't see what he's got up there.
We can't hear you.
Dame's like.
Hopefully he can hear us.
Yeah, he can hear us. He's like, I'm trying this broke ass show. Poor guy. Out in England, eating baked beans, and he's got to deal with this.
Okay, Dame, you muted yourself. Oh, okay.
Uh,
Okay, can we hear you now? I think we can hear you.
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah,
Can you
yeah,
guys hear me?
Yep.
Yep, we can hear you now. So we missed everything about being presented with the bill on stage.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was already in the throes of it because my mom was there, fucking drunk as shit, like making a goddamn scene. So I was just like, this is just happening. But
Yeah, I've never seen a lady give the finger to comics on stage and be like, "You ain't shit."
Yeah, that's my mom.
I heard better jokes.
It's so funny because you were like, I never seen a lady. I'm like, who's he talking about? And he was like, you ain't shit. Well, that's my mom. Not a lady in any form. That is not a fucking. It's not a lady. It's not a reputable woman. She's never really supported the comedy, so she like kind of chose that day to come. And I don't know. It just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But as far as the bill goes, I made a shitload of money that night. I made like $2,000+ that night, so it was kind of like whatever.
But it was just funny the way like you got the bill on stage and you're like, how you gonna get clam chowder? It's hot outside.
Yeah. He was just running it up. It really looked like he was buying groceries. I'm like, some of that shit's not even at your table. Like for real. Trust this thing on the way out. Because you just order everything.
Yeah, they got a couple different types of wings. I'm like, oh man, I ate at the fair before I came down here. I just came down to laugh, but
oh shit, I thought you were in on that bill. That was 2 people?
Yeah, I mean, I had the beers, yeah.
Oh, fair enough. You know, it's whatever. Like I said, my business model when I started this year, I sat down with my business partner. He was like, okay, so you gotta make like money. You know what I'm saying? Like you've done enough like of the craft work that you have to actually transition into money and shit. So when I was thinking about putting, you know, fucking all my finances in a fucking row, I'm like, okay, I gotta make my shows profitable, and I gotta make my shows also work for me in a sense where I can record the album and have like the material ready for the album, and then also I have to make sure that I can, you know, like live my fucking life. So what we did was we just found a bunch of 50 people venues, and we just charged $20 tickets. It's just $1,000, and he was like, okay, I'm gonna book you 150 of these this year, and then I just been doing that. I think I'm like 40 of those deep right now. So when I did Hot Rod's show, it was 65 people, $20 tickets, and then he didn't know I was gonna charge people for the show. He was just paying me $1,000 to do the show. I moved another show I had in London to do the show because he won some type of fucking raffle. He took his entire staff to Disney World, so he like canceled the show I would have had beforehand. He was like, "I'll make it up to you." He gave me $1,000. Fucking, I booked the gig. I'll probably tell him too much. I hope he never watches it. Then I just sold tickets for it. I was like, you know, I got the money already from it. And what else can go wrong with shit? I sold the tickets. I sold that shit out. I oversold it actually. Sold about 75 tickets, a 65-person room. So the $190 I think fucking Mike and his lady spent shit. It was like a drop in the bucket. I was just really happy to do it, and I was so proud of myself that I had the money to do it. I was like, the plan's working perfectly and shit. And this is like a perk that comes with it is you're able to kind of reciprocate the love and fucking support that the people around you are giving you. You're able to kind of trickle that down to them.
And how nice is it to do a show in your hometown because the view was tremendous. The restaurant was great.
It was hell. That shit was literally hell. I wish I could brought you upstairs because that's where all the comics were sitting and shit. But it's so hard to do comedy there because these people kind of like know me, and that's a super small town. It's a very small community. You work there, so it's like I see these motherfuckers later on. Like, you know what I mean? Like if the show doesn't go good, like they're just in ShopRite with me. You know, like yeah, we hate your guts. I feel like literally like Krusty the Clown in my hometown. It's like these people really don't be fucking with the comedy at all. Like they came out to support. I was going on tour, and so a lot of them there. That was their first time ever coming to see me do anything at all. A lot of them. A lot of them.
So home field disadvantage. then.
Yeah, there you go. It's
Yeah.
it's if you're a Mets fan, it's being a Met in New York.
Now, how tough is it to be the funny guy where you're at? Because I know at work, you were always hilarious, but sometimes like we wouldn't get your humor until you walked away and we're like, oh shit, that was funny as fuck. Like the one night you were talking about, you were waiting for Tommy to use the N-word so you could own his job. And I'm like, that might be the funniest thing I fucking heard tonight.
Oh my god, that's so fucking funny. Yeah, I love Tommy and those guys and shit, man. I don't know. I was kind of fashioning myself for being a little bit ahead with the humor. I don't even, I don't really know how the fuck it worked out that I even have this particular sense of humor. But yeah, either get it or you'll get it. That's how I feel about that.
Yeah, like you and me had a discussion about Mel Brooks, and you talked about, was it that he killed Leslie Nielsen's comedy career with Dracula Dead and Loving It?
Comedy career. He murdered Leslie Nielsen's comedy career. Leslie Nielsen was a fucking sensational act in the early 90s. I don't know if you guys know Leslie Nielsen, but like Naked Gun, Police fucking Squad, like that guy's amazing. And then he would do like the spoof joints and shit, and that's kind of in Mel Brooks's vein. Like that's a little bit brooky. And then so they hooked up together in the 90s to do I think like Dracula Done to Death or something, and it bombed. It was the first time Leslie Nielsen was like critically panned. Like people just didn't like. He never read like bad reviews of himself. Watch any just normal interview of Leslie Nielsen. He has some of the best comedic acting timing I've ever seen before in my life. If you're like a Will Ferrell fan, you can get some of that. There's some synonyms there.
Dame, I was curious. One thing we were talking about before, you were talking about having a business guy. At what point in your career did you have somebody like, okay, you start looking at this more as a business? Was it right away, or did that take some time?
I actually had a landlord. Like my landlord, he was just like really concerned of how I was gonna make rent doing comedy. Like he wasn't really like apprehensive about the comedy. He thought I was like a drug dealer. And he was like, here's this young. He's like, well, how do you have this money? And like, my parents have money. I don't have money, and I just didn't want to live in a property my mom owned anymore. So I was like, I'm just gonna find some place. So I saved a bunch of money, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna fucking pay the rent out front. And I guess that's something you don't do. You don't just show up with like 10 months rent and like cash and shit. And he was like, okay, what the fuck do you do? And I was like, oh, I just took like a loan against a trust fund, and like I'm just trying to like make my bones here. And then that guy was like, I want to like make sure that you're being smart with your money, and also that you're being profitable. Like it's nothing to just pay your rent, but if you're not actually making money during that, then we'll be right back to square one when you won't have this bunch of cash. So he was one of the people that was instrumental in that early on.
Wow.
He kind of like let me in a couple of just different financial tidbits, and then along the way, I kept reasonable relationships with promoters. Like that's really the big thing with me.
Oh, yeah.
You walk outside of a venue, there's a guy handing out flyers for you to go in there and dance or smoke hookah or whatever. And I was like, oh, if I did comedy here, I could get that guy to do this, and it wouldn't eat into the business that they have. It's live audience still, but it's not a rap act, or it's not whatever the fuck they already have going on. It's not DJs or whatever. You can still make concession, and a lot of bars and clubs were receptive to that, and it just kind of funneled from there.
Nice.
Now, well, it's so weird that I explained this to you, because that's how you do it. You know what I mean? And now everyone's like, oh, you gotta have 1,000 followers, you gotta do this, and like that. None of that matters. None of that shit works. Like it's something that kind of happens along the way. It's collateral damage to me. But I think that if you want to be like the guys that I want to be like, Jerry Seinfeld, amazing businessman, amazing business model. Eddie Murphy, amazing businessman, amazing business model, and also super talented. Steve Martin, an amazing performer, a shameless self-promoter. Like, you know what I mean? You kind of have to take after those guys. And 9 times out of 10, you reading those guys' biographies, they never bring up TikTok. Not one time.
Sure. But I think you brought up a good point, though, about the relationships with people. Like, that seems like it's so fucking key, right? Just having that relationship with the promoter.
Yeah, that just sucks, because I'm like a huge asshole. And, like, I'm like kind of learning that here more than anywhere else. You can take that, bro. That's yours. Go ahead, take it.
Yeah, as he's talking about being an asshole, he's giving stuff away. Like, no, that's
no.
no.
I'm gonna show you the video of what that is and shit. Let me see if I can do that while you're on the phone. Hold on real fast. I'm gonna show you what I'm giving them.
I gotta say, this is honestly like, we've had good comedian interviews, Like, I thought Suit Man, when he was talking about representation in comedy, he was great. But we got Dame breaking down the business of comedy. And
Yeah, I really hope a lot more local guys can kind of tap into that because, like, you know, that's where comedy lives. It lives locally. It's you think you're going somewhere else, and when you get there, everyone there is from there. You know what I'm saying? You get to Buffalo, they're supporting local comedy in Buffalo because you're there. And I think like local gets a bad incognition. A lot of guys don't know how to get it out the mud. And like this is how you do it. You go to the venues, you talk with the promoters, you work with the promoters, you work with the business owners, because at the end of the day, that's what we are. We're small businesses. Me, smaller than some, but you know, that's what you have to do to get ahead. You have to work with small businesses until you get to be a big business. That's in anything. And that's what I gave that guy. He was looking in the trash and fucking that's what I said you could have. That's why he was laughing.
I know I'm trying to find a way to send it to this thing, but I'm not gonna fuck around with that because this conversation.
Just watch that later. Just watch that later.
This conversation is too good. Now, when did you come up with the idea of doing an album, and the start to finish process of an album? How long is that going to take?
I'm here for a month. I'm in London and I just bounce around and do spots in London. I do usually like 2 or 3 shows a night. I have a residency at South Kensington Comedy Club, so I have to be there 2 times a week. But I usually go like 3. I'm doing some pubs. If I walk by and somebody has like karaoke, I'll just go in there and I won't put a song. I'll just do jokes and shit. Like people tend to love that shit. They're going nuts for that.
Now, how in England, do they respond well to surprise comedy? Is it like in the U.S. where people
they fucking
go
love
up
that
to a
shit.
bar and they're like,
I'm a sensation immediately because of the accent. I don't have an accent, but they're like, oh shit, he's American, and like they don't get a lot of American TV. They get huge movies and shit like that, but like they have a real appetite for that shit. Like I think I have like I've been chased by women. I don't want to say too much. I want to actually show this fucking podcast to my girlfriend because I love the setup in the back. You guys are actually fucking super funny. But yeah, I've been a little splash in the pond over here.
Nice. Yeah, I like to drop jokes when I can. And actually, I was talking to my buddy the other day, and he dropped a joke on me that I was mad I didn't come up with. So I'm just going to share it with you real quick.
You did that today with the fucking overcoat shit. I'm using that.
We've been planning on watching Malignant for a while. It's a new horror movie that just came out. We're going to watch it Saturday. Yeah, well, the other day, this dude tells me, he goes, hey, man, I had 3 grand mal seizures the other day, and I got to go in for an MRI. And his next fucking text was, I might be seeing Malignant before you. And I laughed so fucking hard. I was actually mad I didn't come up with that because that's just one of those jokes that it catches you from like left field and you're like, holy shit, did you just say what I think you said?
Yo, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. Malignant's not out here yet. And if you hear what you just said on the album, I apologize and I'll send you a check.
Oh my God, please steal it. Like, I remember one time I popped you by the fucking dumpster outside of work because I went out at the end of the night throwing plastic away with these dudes. And
hold on, time out. Dave, do you know what he's talking about? Like, has he talked about work enough?
I've heard the stories. I know about a guy named Red too, who was like,
oh shit.
Yeah, you don't fuck with Red. Dave,
the Red Man.
Dave called Red Booger Red, and Red comes up to me one day. He goes, "Hey man, I listen to your podcast. Who the fuck is Booger Red?" And I'm like, "Oh, Dave took some liberties. That redheaded faggot. I'll reel him in a little bit."
There you go. You're both guy. You're both guy, man.
I've not met Red, but once I heard that claim, I'm like, okay, anybody who's willing to threaten me here, I'm like, he sounds like a guy I better like take heed to and just go, okay.
Yeah, I would have not have done that. Fuck. I was terrified I got the entire time I was there. I'm like, I'm glad he's on our side. Like, you never really know who's a white nationalist until it's too late. But I was fucking like kind of feeling him out, and then he I think there was a Trump pin floating around the warehouse that people were using the sign shop. I'm like, who the fuck's Trump pin is this? Like, I gotta find this guy. And I thought it was Red initially, and then fucking he's a Bernie bro.
Dude, so I'll tell you, you just reminded me of something. You said you don't know who a white national is. I remember I'm 44. I was like in my early 20s. And this guy who was like a rapper, he's working this little Hicks Voluntown area. Joe know about Voluntown. And he goes up to me. He's talking to me, hanging on, talking to me. I'm trying to leave. I'm like, I was like, he's a good, nice guy. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Like, I was going to get going. He's like, you mind sticking around for about a half hour until my girlfriend gets here? I'm like, yeah, what's up? He's like, not everybody in this town likes black people. I'm like,
oh my God, that's so
okay, yeah,
Yo,
I'll stick around.
That's a little bit how it is out here in certain parts and shit. Like, you do get like, oh shit, a black. And then like, I'll have to like calm them down. Like, no, it's fine. I'm from America. I don't have any guns or anything like that. They took everything I had when I got here.
All right, so back to the story about work. The first time I popped Dame, and I felt proud of myself because when you can make a comedian laugh, you're like, "Ooh, shit, I got it." But we're throwing away plastic. I'm helping these guys out. Dame comes out and he goes, "We're doing this together like a family." So I threw the rest out. I finished up.
And I didn't sound like that.
No, you didn't sound like that. I mean, it had your inflection, but all I remember is
as I was saying, I didn't sound like that. I was like, I do appreciate he did not inflict a black accent right now, so I gotta let that slide. That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, if you want me to throw it in there, I could do it.
No, it's quite all right.
So he came out like that, and I finished up. I was the first one, so I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna make my dad and fucking leave.
Oh my God, yo, son. Yeah,
Dame starts laughing, and I go, no, it's all right. He's dead. He didn't abandon us.
That sustained me working at that job. I did not want to work that job at all. Like, I got coerced into working that shit. But yeah, that sustained me for like another month. I was like, yo, I can do this shit. Like, comedy's here. I can work on it. Like, it's fun. Like, I can still come in here and fucking laugh. Like, dude, we worked one of them shits. It was like 4:00 in the morning. I was like, yeah, this is my last day of labor ever. Like, fuck this shit.
Yeah, that stuff was tough. But I mean, when you got Dame looking at you like Eddie Murphy, Kevin Hart, or that wasn't the comparison, but he would make you pick between a couple people. He goes, don't worry about it. I'll come back to you later. And then the whole night, I'm like, fuck, who do I like more? It was Jim Carrey movies, actually, because you're like, favorite Jim Carrey movie. And I'm like, oh, God, I don't know if you're going to like
right now on the spot, favorite Jim Carrey movie. You better have an answer by the end of this goddamn podcast. And I want a favorite Tom Hanks movie, too, you son of a bitch.
Ooh, Tom Hanks. Dame doesn't play fair. He'll hit you with the one you think you got, and then he goes, I'm about to embarrass you. Love this.
You know what? I think you blew me away with your Jim Carrey. I think you had Andy Kaufman's in there, or fucking the fucking Spotless Mind John. No, you got Truman Show. And usually motherfuckers are like, oh, Jim Carrey, fucking The Mask, Ace Ventura 2, goddamn Fun with Dick and Jane. No one says Truman Show. That's just fucking amazing. It's one of my favorite films.
Yeah, it was Truman Show, and then it was like Man on the Moon second, because you can see the poster behind me. You noticed it.
It was so fucking perfect. That's a perfect answer, honestly, to me.
Tell us about your love of Andy Kaufman real quick, because usually we talk wrestling on this show. Andy Kaufman is the perfect mix between wrestling and comedy.
Yeah. He's the best of all time. Well, you know, a lot of wrestling that we even grew up on, you find out like there's like, you guys wouldn't know them, but there's like middling comedians that are like sitting in goddamn Greenwich writing this shit with Vince. Like, they're writing the storylines. I found out all this shit. I used to listen to a lot of Opie Anthony like in high school, just so I could like know when people were being racist to me. So I was like, I have to figure this out. Like, I need to know all the racist terms and all the jokes. So I listened to Opie Anthony. I would fucking go. I went to private schools, like not a lot of black people at the school. So I wouldn't really know when people were laughing with me or laughing at me. So that's another reason I like, you know, I kind of went down the comedy rabbit hole super early. I was like, I need to know where these laughs are coming from, a good place or a bad place. But yeah, fucking a lot of the wrestling that we grew up on, like The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and shit like that from the Attitude Era, was written by comedians that technically never made it.
Yeah, I think Patrice O'Neal might be the biggest comedian that is known to write for WWE outside of like Freddie Prinze Jr.
Oh shit, I didn't even know about Freddie Prinze Jr. It's fucking amazing. Wait, no, Freddie Prinze Jr. is just Freddie Prinze.
Freddie Prinze Jr. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he loved wrestling.
Yeah. Did not know that. Shit, man, I'm getting fucking schooled. Goddamn.
He's a martial artist too. He grew up like with guys that train Chuck Norris.
Okay, Dave. Too. Okay, that's
just
not
telling
a swing contest. Goddamn.
Yeah, just like you know what's going on.
Like,
You're putting me on the spotlight.
I know Dave's out here showing out, and Dave's like, I'm about to steal that shot.
Dave on the table. Like, oh, you don't know anything about that? Like, all right, I get it.
Now, Dame, we've had you on for a half hour. It has been a great talk. When you get back to the United States, we got to do this live. We got to do this out of our head.
Listen. Book the venue. I'll sell it out. Well, it's a fucking $1,000 three-way split. Let me know.
Well,
Ooh.
All
All right,
could
Dame's
work.
about to have us in his
This is
DMs.
another thing. This is another thing my business manager has told me to be cutthroat. Like as soon as you see an opportunity, see if people are bullshitting you or not, because there's probably money at the end of that. 9 times out of 10, they're bullshitting themselves. And if you give them a little bit of initiative, or if you challenge them on it, if they're any type of real man, they're gonna kind of walk down the line with you. They're like, you know what? I'm pulling the trigger on this because you said it, not me.
Ooh, shit. Dame called us out as men, Dave.
I mean,
when this dude lands in the States, we're about to have to.
Hey, he already called my dick size out, so
happen.
I'm like kind of already like, let's do it. Get fired up. By the way,
I think it would be dope if you want to sit down with somebody that like knows comedy. I do not know as much wrestling. Let's book like 2 or 3 wrestling guys too. But I'll make sure that it's a fun show. I'll make sure it's profitable. I'll do some time up top. You know, whatever the case may be.
God, if only we knew somebody that did wrestling and comedy, we would get to the next level. That's just a joke.
Inside joke.
Does it, and he's not here today, so we shit on him.
Okay, no, you're yeah. I was saying, wasn't there 3 of you guys? I thought this was gonna be a fucking gangbang, right?
Wait, is that the gangbang or is that the? Never mind.
But Dame, before we let you go,
wait! Before we let go, the man challenged me, myself, and Irene.
Oh shit!
Dame didn't forget.
He brought up the big gun. Kelly Brother Classic. Oh my god.
Oh, and Sleepless in Seattle. I was a sucker for that romantic comedy with Meg Ryan.
Oh shit!
Whatever.
Damn, you just dropped the fucking ball. God damn you! God damn you, Dave. You made me give you all of that for this. Shit.
Should have just stopped at me, myself, and Irene.
Fuck. Yeah, you should definitely stop me, myself, Irene. Shit, man.
I like to take people on a journey. All right.
God damn. Well, this has been a fun interview, Dame.
I appreciate the emotional roller coaster.
Oh,
Joe, thank you so much for having me. I love you. Next show, all the drinks are on me, man.
Dude, oh, that's it. We're out.
Oh no, he's out. Guys,
that's how you end it. Hand out on top.
Dave, was that shit? That's got to be one of the most fun interviews I think we've had on here.
That was good. I got to get out of here too, though, because my phone's dying. I got to interview it too. So, guys, working fans, Joe, finish up. Love you guys.
Fuck all y'all. I'm going to Farm Aid next week. I don't know if this is going to happen. We will talk to you later.